an African-inspired fantasy world for you to role-play with others. A place to call home. And defend from danger. The Wagadu Chronicles.
Hi, I'm Alan, lead at Twin Drums, and we're behind the Wagadu Chronicles, a 5th edition setting and an online RPG, MMO. Chances are, if you love role-playing, as we do, you might have found yourself around the table with a bunch of friends, rolling dice, speaking like your character, acting them out, and being someone else, somewhere else. This amazing role-playing experience is one of the most cherished activities, and hobbies that we all have. But then, if you like video games as well as we do, and you try going to an online space like an MMO, you probably will have realized by now that most people don't really care about the lore that much, or about role-playing and acting out the character. Your rogue or fighter or cleric are basically just a bunch of stats and numbers, a way to kill other monsters. Now imagine if there were an MMO that actually brought people who want to roleplay together, and everybody acted out the character, made decisions based on the lore, and all the stories were driven by the players and what they want to do with their own roles. They were actually role-playing. And at the same time, there were 5th edition lore and books to back up and support this role-playing in this online wonderful space. And of course, imagine if this space were based on African mythology and it were like a beautiful new fantasy setting. So your role-playing is somewhere completely brand new. Well, this is the Wagadu Chronicles, an MMORPG built exclusively for role players and a 5th edition setting created for this new Afrofantasy world. Your support will help us make this the biggest and most immersive experience that we can.
As a British person with Nigerian heritage, it was really interesting to find out more about not only my own culture, but the different cultures in all of the African countries. I definitely see how it's important for Black people, whether you're born and raised in Africa or of African descent, to be represented, especially in this industry.
It is a fantasy world, but we take a lot of inspiration from various cultures around the whole African continent, and we try to include as many unique elements as possible. One of the things we did to dive more and understand the culture better was a trip to Kenya, where we spent 1 week with Maasai people and we learned about their traditions and environment. Each lineage is representing a different part of Africa, and we want them all to be very characteristic and unique by using different shape language and specific color schemes.
To improve the sense of immersion into the world of Wagadu, we developed various systems. We have a day-night cycle, we have a weather system with dry and rain seasons, and of course we'll have more to come.
As someone born in Ghana, I can use my own experiences and knowledge about African tradition and folklore to help inspire designs in the game. The Wagadu Chronicles is very special, particularly to me because growing up it was rare to find mainstream games or TV shows and movies that were so heavily based on African culture. And it's a shame because African culture can really inspire great stories.
Wagadu Chronicles is about village life, about building a community and playing in a group with friends together. And the totems are the center of this. Totems, you have one in your village, but there also will be other totems in the wilderness that you can compete for and try to convince to join your pantheon. Totems will give you buffs and increase the stats of your village and your surrounding, or change it in different ways that you can't really imagine. In the end game, large groups and powerful groups of players can compete for different totems.
We have 5 biomes: swamp, desert, rainforest, mountains and savanna. In these biomes you can do PvE and exploration.
So in the various biomes that we have in the video game, there are spirits and ancestors based on these. And depending on how you interact with them, this can shape the experience that you have within the game.
For the Wagadu Chronicles, we use a mixture of two elements. We use very authentic, or trying to be as authentic as possible, with an African music part, or classical African music part, and merge it with the Western stylization of fantasy music and orchestrations, and merge that kind of music together, a bit like more also what has been done in like Black Panther or soundtracks like this. But we try to have a really authentic way of integrating African instruments, and also the meaning of which instruments is used for what, to create the kind of right sound world for the game.
We're building a community on Discord where fans and players can contribute directly to the game's lore.
Backing the Wagadu Chronicles is not just about resources and making this the best game and 5e setting that it can be. It's about helping us build a community as well, but a very special community. A community of players who love role-playing around the table offline, but love doing it online as well. A seamless community between tabletop and video game. And it means as well helping us build the first online Afrofantasy world. We're basically expanding the genre. We're bringing underrepresented aesthetics and visuals and themes from Africa into fantasy for the first time. So if you're joining us in this journey, thank you so much for backing us.